Welcome, everyone. Ciao, Bellas. This is Sophia Leva Marie with nurturingdivinebeauty.com, and you have come to a special place, Pleasure Principles, Sacred G-Spot Secrets to Igniting Your Magic, Money, Sex, and Business. I'm honored today to speak with Rebecca Marina of RebeccaMarina.com, the outrageous, unconventional, interdimensional channel, energy healer, EFT practitioner, mother god, asana channel, financial expert, and I think there's pretty much nothing you don't do. So you're just the channel for all. So welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm so excited about the work that you're doing and that this message of sacred sexuality is getting out into the world and releasing those covers, you might say, of shame that it has been held under.
Yes. Shame is such a huge thing, from culture to religion. You know, I mean, it's interesting. You grew up in, I believe it was Pentecostal. I grew up in fitness, so, you know, very closed-minded. And being in the United States, as free as it is, it's still very repressed sexually. Like if you go to Europe, there's a different sentimentality about it. And even just what we're built into, how women are taught, how we're supposed to show up in life, especially that we're supposed to close down, we're supposed to serve, we're not supposed to receive, and so many things. And that's what we're talking about today, is how to open that up.
Yes. Well, growing up, there's so many stories that I can refer back to just to show the magnitude of the shame around sexuality. When I was first married, of course, I knew nothing about sex, and I don't remember much, except that I remember that one time my dad came over unexpectedly, and we were in bed, a newly married couple. We didn't have any clothes on, and he accidentally saw us. And he was so horrified that he went and talked to my mother and said, "You have got to talk to your daughter because she is doing this shameful thing, sleeping with no clothes on, nude with her husband, and I'm afraid she's going to hell." Serious. My mom called me to her room next time I came over and told me that she was so ashamed that I had done this shameful thing. I'm like, what? Sleeping naked with your husband. I'm like, Mom, you had 8 children. How did you do that? Oh, well, I just pulled my clothes up a little. I'm like, you didn't like sex very much either, did you? She's like, no, but it's my duty. So it's hard to believe that that kind of thing, I hope it's not still going on. I don't mind telling you I'm 64. And that was, I don't know, 40 years ago. But I think the repressions of not just women, but men around sexuality, especially in this country, and I think even in other countries. I live real close to Mexico, and I'm telling myself a little bit. Anyway, I'm single and I date, and so many of the men from that culture have said to me, "Oh, don't worry, I don't want to have sex with you." I'm like, well, I want to have sex? What are you talking about? Like, I'll be good. I won't ever ask for sex. Well, get on out of here. Anyway, there needs to be an opening. And I am so in love with the Divine Mother and all the different aspects of the Divine Mother. And particularly Isis, Goddess Mother, has been coming to me a lot lately, and even in previous years. And she says, Rebecca, one of the reasons it's important to teach people about sexuality is that saying no to your sexuality is part of the dying process. When you get to the point that you don't feel any sexuality, you begin the dying process.
Yes, absolutely. I've actually experienced that myself. When I left my religion, I was raped at the same time, and then I had a series of relationships and that, but then I decided to completely shut that off. And that's when I really created health problems. Lots of things started going wrong, financial things. And it wasn't until later I had the awareness that it was actually when I shut that off, that's when things really went to, as you said, the dying process. I mean, the doctors gave me 2 weeks to live at one point, because that was part of what I had cut off. And so many people are cut off and they're dying slowly. Maybe not as dramatic as what I had, but they're dying slowly. So how do we begin to awaken and rediscover that sexual energy that's actually within us already?
Okay, I would begin. Ice is telling me right now. I love it when they just come in. Well, they're always here, but when we open to hear. And by the way, anyone watching, anyone can receive messages from any divine if you're willing to be open to it, which is another talk and another class. But one of the things that we can start to do to reawaken our sexuality is to touch ourselves in loving manner. And of course, you can touch yourself anywhere, but this is a video. But just like when you're driving down the road, touch yourself, love yourself. When you look in the mirror in the morning, say something loving to yourself. A few years ago, I, like you, shut down my sexuality. I was in a not happy marriage, and I got to the point where I couldn't stand to be touched by that person. And I was quite a bit younger, and I felt like I had no sexuality left. I felt I just wanted to protect myself because it felt like an invasion. And this is something to look at too, ladies and men. If someone touches you and you have an aversion to that, it doesn't mean anything's necessarily wrong with you, but it can absolutely mean that you have an aversion to a person. If you don't believe it, touch yourself. Just right now, touch yourself. Oh, it feels so good. Just touch yourself lovingly, and you're not averse to your own touch. If you're averse to your own touch, you need to get with a counselor like Sophia and do some energy trauma releasing work, because it is true that old trauma such as rape, and I teach a lot of teleseminars for women and men, and I can tell you, I will tell you, almost every woman has been raped.
Right.
I mean, at least the one that come to us, and like the Divine Mother says, it's like a lock and key. You're going to attract the people who can benefit from your gifts.
Yes.
And I was raped at an early age, and I had so much shame, and I'm sure lots of women do. And even, of course, men can be raped. I know you've probably worked with men who were molested as boys. I had so much shame. I was more afraid of getting in trouble with my parents than telling. I just kept it bottled up inside and felt years of shame over that. Felt like in my teaching, if you weren't a virgin when you got married, then you were just trash. So I know there's so much shame going on. So to get back to how to start to open up, of course, do some healing around it. I know we're supposed to talk about a gift at the end, but this isn't even the gift I planned, but I do have a free program about healing the trauma around rape. We can talk about that later, that I give to anyone so that if you have this terrible trauma, at least you can get some help. But beginning to realize, okay, I hear you, that there is no part of your body that is not divine. Which part of your body is not divine?
True.
None. And so to just begin with that touching yourself, with being loving to yourself, looking in the mirror, especially women, we tend to look in the mirror and look at the wrinkle or look at this or look at the cellulite and be critical. But self-loving starts your sexuality. And then, of course, we could talk about, if you don't have a partner, one of my most popular classes I ever taught was, well, first I advertised how to become multi-orgasmic. And I got about 10 signups. Then I said, how to become multi-orgasmic, no partner needed. Oh my Lord, 100 people came to that class. Okay.
That's wonderful. It is really true that self-love is the key to everything. That's the start of everything. I mean, when people ask what I do, I like to say I'm a self-love tour guide instead of a coach, because
I love that.
About self-love, because you have to start within before you can have anything outside of you, because everything is, of course, a reflection. Now, as you're opening into this sexual energy that's within you, start by the self-loving, the self-nurturing. A lot of times that's where people stop, though. They feel that it's just about sex, but that's not true. That sexual energy is actually what creates your life. As we talk about the magic, the money, the sex, the business, the relationships. How do you start to cultivate that energy after you've done it for yourself, so that you actually start having that energy start to permeate the different aspects of your life and actually begin to have what you desire?
Well, there's a couple different things, and I hope it's okay if I just say anything on this.
Yeah, no.
Okay. One of the things of realizing that you're sexual and that being sexual is good, whether you do or you don't actually come to climax, because I know a lot of women and older men, it takes them for freaking ever. So, but allowing yourself to enjoy all phases of sexuality is important, whether or not you get to the finish line, so to speak. That's one thing. And realizing that your lower chakras are so important. What happens with spiritual folks is that they are so concerned with the heart, the throat. A lot of them leave that out, speaking your truth. I want sex. But anyway, these upper chakras get so overdeveloped that the lower ones start to kind of wither and die, and they're not in balance. Well, what are your survival, creativity, sexuality, the will of who you are? You need those to be grounded, and you need to recognize also the sacredness of money. Because here again, there's so many teachings about money that are shameful. There's shame about money, shame about sex. You're pretty much screwed if you don't come to the healing of this and being merciful to yourself for the doctrines that were placed upon you, but just realizing. And two, I love it that the heart's in the middle, because the more we start to tune into, well, what does my heart want? And to know that the desires of your heart, people always, what's my soul purpose? What's your heart's desires?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And by the way, I know we're a little off topic, but not really. Your soul purpose can change according to the desires of your heart. Now, most of us came with the big, like I know I'm a teacher, probably you are a teacher, healer. But the desires of your heart, your true heart, will lead you in the direction that feels so good and feels so happy. And when you allow yourself to honor those desires, whether they be for more sexuality, more money, I'm feeling this big shame when we admit, I am open to having more money. I am open to having more sex. A lot of times all this shame comes in. I do teach a lot of classes on prosperity, and I always have sharing from participants, of course. And one of the things that bothers me, and I say in a kind way, almost no one ever says, when I might ask, well, why do you desire to have more money? Nobody has the balls to say, so I can get my hair done, or a facelift, or a boob job, or everybody wants to be all holy with this bad doctrine and say, oh, I just want to save the whales. I just want to give away more money. Because sure, of course, when you have money, it's fun to donate to all the causes that you love. But we need to have the balls, the presence to say, to put ourselves first, to love ourselves first. Yes, I am desiring more money so that my life can be easier. You know that wonderful feeling when you look in your bank account and you know that you have more than enough to cover all your obligations. And it's a wonderful feeling, but moving into that place begins with not being ashamed to have more money.
Yes.
Because you want it. Divine Mother, it doesn't even, she said, be careful using the word money because it's a trigger for a lot of people. She said, really, money is sustenance. It's that which sustains you.
That's really interesting. But it's interesting also that, especially as healers, light workers, they're the ones with so little money. They can help their clients.
Yes.
Do so much good in the world, yet they're still struggling. Why is that? Why is there such a paradox when they're adding so much light into the world, but they're not sustaining themselves?
Partly it's those 3 lower chakras that are not being sustained, supported, integrated, realize the importance of it. And it's partly because we're all, most light workers we are people of service. And we do want to be of service. Nobody makes us be of service. It's our heart's desire to be of service. But what happens, I believe, is that we put the helping others ahead of helping ourselves. How many light workers do you know who are embarrassed to talk about charging money for their services? Many. Now, if you're embarrassed and ashamed to ask for money, how much do you think you're going to have? So, getting yourself in line with being okay, and it might take a little bit of doing to get into the place of saying, yes, I'm desiring. I don't like to use the word I want more money because wanting is a sense of lack. Desiring is sexy. What do you want to do? Desire it or want it? I want to desire it. And isn't that fun?
It is.
You know, every word that you speak is prophesying your destiny, if you think about it. So being careful about what you're saying, not beating yourself up. Oh, I said I want, but being careful about what you're saying, and always give yourself permission. If you need an energy exercise to do that, most folks watching are probably certified in a dozen healing techniques. Let yourself have the freedom to say, I am desiring to have more money, even if it's for no reason. I'm just desiring I'm seeing this vision now, to get naked and get all the bills you can, get 100 and change it or whatever, and put honey all over your naked body and just roll around on the money. I mean,
we'll be doing this after the live portion of the
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I do want to share a little technique that I taught at a seminar that was very effective. I'll share it for our viewers. You know, the base of the spine has a lot of power, and it's the root chakra. So when you sleep at night, get the biggest bill that you have and put a little dab of honey. You know, honey, all the divine feminine talks about the importance of pure honey. Put a little dab of honey on the small of your back and stick that dollar bill, the 100, don't put a dollar. Or Lakshmi is coming in here. She says, if you have a gold coin or something, you can even use that. Stick it on the base of your spine. It's going to activate that root chakra to, like, now I'm seeing another vision of like actually pulsating your body in a sexual manner with that money there. It just starts to make you feel so alive. And if you're worried that the money is dirty, we'll wash the cotton picking money first. Honey is antibacterial. If you're that far down, honey, we need to talk. If you're worried about that dirty money, that right there is a clue. And I'm not wanting to sound harsh, but so many times, Sophia, we don't realize the triggers that we have. Because we've all heard, oh, there's more germs on a dollar bill than on a commode seat or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, we have
anyway.
Judgments layered on top of the shame, that it's no wonder that so many people have such difficulty bringing it in, because
yes,
you receive something that you feel is dirty, or, you know, the greedy people or the nasty people, or, you know, it's just wrong to have it, and it's wrong to love it.
Yes. Well, Mother Asna is asking me to share another technique, if that's okay with you.
Please.
Okay. Because some folks watching may be feeling very confused and like, oh, I have to do all these things. Well, Mother Asna, which is the name Mother God is known by on the other side, according to my dear friend Sylvia Brown, who is on the other side right now, we can get overwhelmed by, oh man, I've been messing up so much, there's no hope for me. So to find out the most important thing for you to heal, first, to open your money or your sexuality, you can simply do this pose, hands across your eyes. It covers all the emotional centers and the acupressure points, and then cradle your heart, and then imagine that from your higher self point, you're just opening your crown and streaming this beautiful stream of divine knowing, divine revelation. Do it with me now. As this beautiful stream of divine knowing, divine revelation streams down through your crown, all the acupressure centers around your eyes, down your throat, and into the very hidden recesses of your heart as you ask, what is the most vital thing for me to heal right now about my sexuality or about money? What is the most vital thing for me to heal right now about my sexuality or about money? And then just hold it. And you might get a feeling that comes up. Some of you might see a picture of something, just a knowing. You can even ask, could you make that more clear, please? And start with that first thing that came up for you and do whatever, whether you do tapping or some other kind of healing modality. Just start, know that that is the first layer of the onion that's going to give you the freedom. And also, see, you connect your head and your heart, because so many times we go, it's the head that was feeling the confusion, like, oh, I have to remember not to say, there's a little friend here in the room with me. I have to remember not to say this or that. Just what is the most important thing? And it could be about sexuality or money. They're linked together.
Yes. Yes. They're all currencies of energy.
Yes.
In more than one way. Well, I know that you have an amazing activation for us. And I think since we're so in that receptive place, since we just did that activation and asking into that, I think now would be a wonderful time if you would mind leading us through that.
Oh, I would love to. So the first thing I'm going to ask everyone to do is just get in a comfortable position, a more comfortable position. And to just take some slow, deep breaths in and out. And this activation is a gift from the goddess mother Isis and her son Horus. This is a tantric pineal gland activation. It's been a few years ago that Mother God Isis revealed to me that the pineal gland is connected to the clitoris of a woman and the head of a penis of a man. And you can activate these two together and it just zips up your chakras and it gets this connection going on that is wonderful. And as your eyes are closed, just to get us completely grounded, send down a line of light to the heart of Mother Earth and send down love and appreciation for the carbon-based being that you are. And just wait till you feel that love returned. And from your crown, send up a line of light to Father Sky. Send up love to Father Sky for the spirit being that you are. And then wait until you feel a wave of love returning to you. And then from your heart, receiving love, giving love, know that you are the divine child. Continue to relax and give permission for the energy of divine knowing, divine revelation, to just open you up to this activation. You might want to repeat the words, I give permission now for this activation, for the highest good of all. And being in this state of complete relaxation, Bring your awareness to the very center of your brain, to the pineal gland. It's the pine cone-shaped gland. And all the Egyptian pictures, there is pictures of the pineal gland and all kind of activations going on. And even the Vatican knows the importance of the pineal gland because there's an enormous sculpture of a pine cone at the Vatican. And just have your awareness here. Pay attention to any light coming off of it. Use your imagination. It's important, beloveds, to become as little children and allow yourself to play. And then it's helpful to put one hand across your third eye and another hand on the back of your neck, right where the head and the neck join. This is the Alta Major chakra or portal. Just hold it there for a moment. When your hands get tired, take them out. And say the name, Isis, 3 times. As you're holding the position, pay attention to the light that is sparking in your pineal gland. Isis, Isis, Isis. Woo! I felt a little electricity. You may or may not feel anything. And then we're going to invite her son Horus, who is a very sexual being. And again, say this 3 times. Horus, Horus, Horus. Ooh, then take your hands away and just relax. And now you'll see with your imagination that your pineal gland is sparking light. It's beginning to throb. It's beginning in itself to make you feel more sexual. It's as if this little tiny gland is throbbing with desire. And now putting your awareness on your clitoris, your G-spot, if you're a woman, linking these two together. And if you're a man, the head of your penis. Putting your awareness on these sexual parts of your body. And then imagine a line of light going down from your pineal. It's throbbing, searching, loving, sensual. Energy connects with your clitoris, your G-spot, or the head of your penis. And you feel a little woo. And it is indeed a pleasure principle. As you allow it to just be connecting. Spiritual awareness, Father Sky, with earthy awareness, Mother Earth, sexual energy. I am Isis, she who has birthed new worlds, new avenues for you to explore. I invite you to accept this activation into receiving more abundance than you have ever imagined. I invite you to accept this activation into knowing that sexuality is one of the hidden pathways to divine. There is no shame in knowing that you are sexual, no matter what kind of condition your body is in. It is time now, my beloveds, to release all shame around having money, wealth, stature, confidence, around becoming and being sexual, sensual, to the point that when you walk into a room, You are magnetic. People are drawn to you, especially those, my beloveds, who can be helped by the spiritual gifts that you have. And now imagine that you're going to activate further by your will the power of your sexuality, which is going to shoot a line of fire up to the pineal and further activate you. I feel the presence of Horus coming to your Alta Major chakra. They like to call it a portal because it's the mouth of the goddess. And Horus is just behind you. And if you could just hang your head down a little, as if you're opening, and Horus places his mouth on this place, right where the head and neck join. If you feel it, there's an indentation. And he just breathes in Holy Spirit breath into your Alta Major opening. And as he does, you begin to feel it open and relaxing. Open and relaxing. As he breathes holy breath into this chakra, the forgotten one, the mouth of the goddess. And then Isis comes, and Horus steps aside for a moment. And Isis puts her finger into this Alta Major opening. It's shaped rather like a vagina opening. And she begins to massage it, much as if a midwife would massage a yoni to help a mother give easy birth. She begins to massage. It has been lubricated with the breath of Holy Spirit light. And she begins to massage it, and you just feel it opening, opening, opening. You feel as if you're actually melting. You may feel flames of desire beginning from your very root chakra and moving up. And yet it's time now to amplify the power. And so with your imagination, come, my beautiful ones, my handsome ones, come on a little journey with me. Outside in the meadow, you're barefoot. The grass is soft, the air is sweet, and there is a little stream. It is so narrow that you can straddle it safely with one foot on one side of the stream, the other foot on the other, and you see the water is crystal clear. It's filled with the energy of joy. You're going to squat over this stream, and you're going to take a breath in and pull up with your perineal muscles. Men, you'll pull into the head of the penis, this stream of living water that moves up and washes all throughout your sexual organs, all the way up to the pineal with this cleansing of these old belief systems. Women, you're going to pull this living water up through your vagina. Kegel exercise, as every woman knows, you pull in with your perineal muscles, and then you're going to expel out the residue. And you're going to do this 3 times. Now take a breath in and pull in. Living water moving up, washing throughout your whole being, washing your spinal column fluid, and then releasing, expelling the debris. And once more, you squeeze with your perineal muscles, drawing in that living water, moving up through every chakra system and flowing as a fountain over your head, and then you release it, and the debris floats away in the stream. Now take some deep breaths in and out. We have another step to do. Time to set you on fire. As you look below at the stream, you notice that it becomes hot. Where there was water, now there is molten lava. This is the fire of desire. It's like a stream of cleansing. It will not burn you in the sense of being harmful. This is holy fire, Holy Spirit fire, and it's going to ignite your sexual organs, moving up through every chakra, igniting your pineal gland, and then moving down through the spinal column fluid. Are you ready? No harm will come to you as once more you squeeze in and you suck up that holy fire, cleansing, purifying. It's already been washed, but it's giving fire energy up through every chakra into the pineal, activating more fully this tantric pineal gland union. And then you expel it. The expellation is just as important as the bringing in. You just expel it and it moves away. We're going to do this 3 times. That was 1. Again, you're straddling and you almost feel your pelvic wanting to start to undulate with passion. Passion for life. Passion for having abundance in every area of your life. Now you breathe in, you pull up. Ooh, fire, 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 moving throughout all your chakra systems, up, down your spinal column fluid. And once more, you expel. Take a couple deep breaths for this 3rd time. As we breathe in that hot, liquid, molten fire of desire. Holy Spirit, fire, set me on fire, cleanse every chakra, purify me, activate me now. And Isis says there's one more area we need to purify. And that is a lot of shame is around the anus. And the anus actually can hold on to so much crap in your life. And there is so much shame around the anus, even though according to tantric tradition, there is actually an anal orgasm. And so I invite you to take this to the max. Come with me a step further. Now you're straddling the stream of molten fire. And you get your anus as close to the fire as possible. And again, with that Kegel move, that perineal, you draw that fire. First, you kind of move your anus around the top of the fire and you allow those nerve endings to be activated to pleasure. You're burning away all shames about that we were taught as little about having accidents in our pants, pooping in our pants. This was the beginning of shame. You're just burning away all that shame and you bring that fire in. It moves slightly back and moves all the way up your spinal column fluid, all the way to the Alta Major chakra. And it spews out the Alta Major chakra. That's 1. And now once more, allow yourself to feel sensual as you're doing this. If you're feeling any shame about having any kind of sensations around the anus, I would invite you to do some energy work on that. So having the anus very close to the fire and just pulling it in, pulling that fire up and then into the spinal column, all the way up and then out through the Alta Major chakra. Ooh, it expels by itself. And then once more, feeling your anus close to the fire and pulling up that fire all the way up through that spinal column fluid, setting your spinal column fluid on fire and expelling it through the Alta Major chakra. And now, be in the space of relaxation as Horus once again stands behind you. Mary Magdalene comes. She was a priestess of Isis and stands to one side. Isis is standing on the other. They join hands around you. By the power of three, the Holy Trinity, this work is done. This activation is complete. You now have full divine permission to be sexual, to have money, to have sustenance, to have, most important of all, self-love. And we are in a state of gratitude from the Holy Spirit that I am to the Holy Spirit within you. I honor and thank you for allowing me to be a vehicle of this activation. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. Open your eyes. If you can.
Yeah, it is. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you. I definitely felt the shift in that, and as we were releasing the debris and just feeling that, it's just amazing.
Yeah. And it's okay to do it as many times as you desire, because there are some, my friend Azuran from the 10th dimension says, he reads light patterns, that some light patterns haven't quite finished your soul's journey, or maybe you haven't quite learned, that you're not quite ready to give them up. So any of these techniques and processes we've done today, feel free to do them as many times as you like.
Well, you feel so amazing after. Why wouldn't you?
I know. I feel like I want to have sex and money. Woo! And I love myself, and I give myself permission to do that.
Yes, the permission. And I also love too that during the transmission it mentioned that yes, you're pulling in your sexuality, yes, you're pulling in your wealth, but it also is bringing in, activating your spiritual gifts, which is like we are always wanting to expand further into our gifts. So I love that that's a piece of it as well. And it just shows how truly important the sexual energy is. Like, it's not just about sex, but it's really about birthing yourself, birthing your life, birthing your purpose, your relationships, and just everything.
Yeah. Well, Sophie, if you have shame energy around sex, it can keep you from using your spiritual gifts to the fullest. Because if you have shame to be a sexual being, some of that shame energy is going to get a toehold, and you're going to maybe have shame around your spiritual gifts and maybe hold back. When you give yourself permission to be outrageous and authentically who you really are, and not everybody is outrageous as I am, but that's okay. But when you give yourself permission to admit, enjoy, and love your feelings, your spiritual gifts are going to soar. When you're holding back one part of your body, yeah, you can still have wonderful gifts, but you just blossom. And Isis is telling me to mention that as you incorporate sacred sexuality, and you don't need a partner, be sexual with yourself, that you just become more magnetic.
Right.
People want to know what you have, and they want more of your what you have. As a spiritual healer, that is one pathway to abundance. People seek you out and want what you have because you're magnetic, because you incorporate your whole being.
Yes, yes, yes. And during that activation, I also felt my partner coming in. So that's the other thing that people want is love. So, yes. You know, being willing to open into everything that you're meant to be and to have is amazing. I want to thank you again for that. And I know you mentioned a free gift for our listeners. So what magnificent more can you give to us? I mean, this has been fabulous already.
Well, it's something so fabulous that I sign up for it myself over and over. I created a 30-day prosperity plan. And what it is, it's not all about money, or it's about a lot of the things we talked about as far as loving yourself, forgiving yourself, appreciating life. And every single day for 30 days, you get a new message, which is very brief. It's like 5 or 10 minutes max. There's a message for you, and oh, it's just wonderful. I love it. I love my stuff, which is okay. If I don't love it, who else is going to love it? And it's so encouraging. It has 2 sections. One is a message to increase your prosperity, and the other one is sacred soul language and geometry codes. So when you listen to the one little 5-minute thing, and then the sacred soul language is the light language, and it's just sounds as spirit moves me from my heart and soul to your heart and soul. And I just love to listen to it to nurture myself. So I encourage everyone to get those 30 days. And then at the end of 30 days, go sign up for it again. And you just open your inbox and here's this loving message. And so
that sounds wonderful.
That's my wonderful. Oh, and if anyone wants that healing from trauma, rape, audio, maybe you can have a link with my email.
Yes, I'll have a link below so you can sign up for your free 30 days of fabulousness and stretching your muscle of receiving. And yes, I'll connect anyone who wants to receive that as well. And then, Rebecca, just to wrap up, if there was one sacred secret, if you had to choose just one to really ignite your life and love and sexuality and everything, what would it be?
One secret?
I know there's so many, but if there was just one, what would you say?
Just one. Oh, I have goosebumps. Trust your heart. Always drop into your heart. Your heart is going to lead you to abundance. Turn this off. Let your heart speak for you and honor what it tells you. That's the secret number one.
That's very true. And I'm sure our listeners have opened into their heart with that cleansing and purification and igniting everything on fire. Again, sign up for your free gift below. And if you want to find out more about the outrageous, fabulous Rebecca, go to RebeccaMarina.com. I want to thank you so much for joining us for Pleasure Principles, Sacred G-Spots, to igniting your magic, money, sex, and business. And we'll play with you tomorrow. Ciao.
Oh, wonderful.